In this video, I will be talking about the current drought affecting Raleigh and the declining water levels at Falls Lake. As water supplies continue to decrease, the city has put water restrictions in place to help conserve this essential resource. While these rules can be difficult to follow, especially when our lawns, gardens, and plants need more water because of the hot, dry weather and this heat wave, these regulations exist to protect the community as a whole. This creates the ethical dilemma of should people prioritize their own needs and their convenience, or should everyone make sacrifices for the benefit of the entire community? In this presentation, I'll explain why following these restrictions is an ethical responsibility and how each person's actions can help protect Raleigh's water supply for everyone. Before talking about Raleigh's current situation, it's important to understand what a drought actually is. According to NASA, a drought is a period of unusually persistent dry weather that lasts long enough to cause serious problems, such as crop damage and water supply shortages. Droughts develop when an area receives much less precipitation than normal over an extended period of time. They're also influenced by factors like climate change, ocean temperatures, shifts in the jet stream, and changes to the local landscape. Together, these conditions reduce the amount of water available in rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, making it harder to meet the needs of both people and the environment. Raleigh's drought conditions first became a major concern in mid to late April of 2026, when unusually low rainfall combined with extreme heat caused water levels to begin dropping. In response, Raleigh Water implemented Stage 1 water restrictions on April 20th, 2026 to help conserve the community's water supply. Under these restrictions, homes with odd-numbered addresses can use automatic or spray irrigation only on Tuesdays, while even-numbered addresses can irrigate only on Wednesdays. Any spray irrigation must take place between midnight and 10 a.m. to reduce water loss from evaporation. These measures were designed to reduce unnecessary water use while still allowing people to maintain their landscapes. Although Stage 1 water restrictions were put in place to help conserve water, many residents have not been following them. Recent reports show that about 43 to 46% of households have been violating the watering restrictions, which is a significant non-compliance rate. Because of this, the city has begun issuing fines to residents who repeatedly ignore the rules. If compliance does not improve and water levels continue to decline, Raleigh may be forced to implement even stricter Stage 2 water restrictions. This issue is an ethical one because it involves balancing individual wants with the well-being of an entire community. Many people want to keep their lawns green and maintain their gardens during drought, but using more water than allowed reduces the amount of water available for everyone else. Water is a shared resource, so when people ignore the restrictions, they place their own convenience above the needs of their neighbors and future residents. If everyone follows the conservation rules, the community has a much better chance of protecting the water supply and avoiding even stricter restrictions. This raises an important ethical question. Should individuals make small sacrifices for the common good, or should they prioritize their own interest even when it negatively impacts others? This sounds a lot like utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is the idea that the most ethical decision is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. In this case, the temporary sacrifice of watering lawns less often may be inconvenient for individuals, but it helps preserve enough water for essential needs such as drinking, cooking, sanitation, firefighting, and hospitals. Although the restrictions require personal sacrifices, they are intended to benefit the entire community. From a utilitarian perspective, following the water restrictions is more ethical choice because it maximizes the overall well-being of Raleigh's residents rather than prioritizing the preferences of a few individuals. There is quite the dilemma over this utilitarian approach. Some residents argue that because they own their own property and pay for their own water, they should be able to use it however they choose. Another perspective is that people believe that the city's enforcement is unfair because the fines are the same for everyone, regardless of income. For a wealthier household, a $200 fine may be an inconvenience, while for a lower-income family, it could be a significant financial burden. Some people even choose to continue violating the restrictions because they can afford to pay it. Others are frustrated that the stricter restrictions may be imposed on everyone, including the residents who have followed the rules from the beginning. This creates a sense of collective punishment. While the concerns from the community are understandable, overall, Raleigh's water restrictions are about much more than keeping lawns green or limiting someone's personal freedom. This is about protecting a shared resource that every person depends on. While it may be frustrating to change watering habits or accept temporary limits, these restrictions exist to prevent a much larger problem, which would be a water shortage that affects everyone in the community. The argument that people should be able to use unlimited water simply because they pay for it overlooks the fact that the water is not an unlimited private resource. During a drought, each person's choices have consequences for everyone else. Although concerns about whether the fines are fair are worth discussing, they do not justify ignoring the restrictions. Ethically, the responsible response is to work towards fair enforcement while still conserving water. From a utilitarian perspective, the right choice is the one that creates the greatest good for the greatest number of people. By making small individual sacrifices today, we help ensure that our community has enough water for essential needs tomorrow. If everyone does their part, Raleigh can better protect its water supply, avoid stricter restrictions, and reduce the impact of the drought. In the end, conserving water isn't just following a rule, it's acting responsibly towards our neighbors, our community, and everyone that comes to live here in the future.